Jacob was ready to leave the country forever. He stood alone at platform 7. The train was arriving. Then he saw her. Emma. The girl he had loved for 3 years. She was standing only a few steps away. But she was wearing an engagement ring. Jacob smiled sadly. Then Emma whispered, "Please, don't let me get on this train." Jacob froze. He had no idea what those words really meant. Can true love survive secrets, distance, and time? Today's story is emotional. It is full of mystery. Stay until the end. You may never forget this ending. The girl I could never forget. Learn English through stories. A wannabe 2. 3 years earlier, Jacob lived in a small town. He worked in a quiet bookstore. He loved stories. But his own life felt empty. Every day was exactly the same. Until one rainy afternoon, someone opened the bookstore door. A young woman walked inside. She closed her blue umbrella. Her clothes were wet. But she smiled. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I just wanted to escape the rain." Jacob smiled. "You came to the right place." Emma looked at the books. Her eyes became bright. For the first time that day, she looked truly happy. But Jacob noticed something. Behind her smile, she was hiding pain. Emma came back the next day. Then the next week. Soon, she visited the bookstore almost every afternoon. She always smiled. She always read the same kind of books. But Jacob noticed something strange. Every Friday, at exactly 5 o'clock, Emma looked at her watch. She suddenly became nervous. Without saying much, she quickly left. Every single Friday. Jacob wanted to ask why. But he never did. One Saturday, Jacob found Emma sitting alone in a small cafe. "Can I join you?" he asked. Emma smiled. "I was hoping you would." They talked for hours. They laughed. They shared childhood stories. Emma loved drawing. Jacob dreamed of writing a book. For the first time, neither of them felt alone. But when Jacob asked about her family, Emma became silent. She looked away. "I don't want to talk about that." Jacob apologized. But now, he knew she was hiding something. As they walked home, a cold wind began to blow. Emma started shivering. Without thinking, Jacob took off his red scarf. He wrapped it around her neck. Emma smiled softly. "No one has ever done this for me." Jacob smiled back. "You can keep it." Emma held the scarf carefully. It was a simple gift. But somehow, it meant everything. Neither of them noticed. A man in a black jacket was watching them from across the street. That night, Emma reached home. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen. Her smile disappeared. She answered quietly. "Hello?" She listened for a few seconds. Then her hands began to shake. "I understand," she whispered. "I'll do what you want." The call ended. Emma slowly looked at Jacob's red scarf. A tear rolled down her face. She whispered, "I'm so sorry." But sorry for what? The next Monday, Emma returned to the bookstore. She smiled. But something was different. Her eyes looked tired. She laughed less. She checked her phone again and again. Jacob noticed everything. "Are you okay?" he asked. Emma forced a smile. I'm fine. But Jacob knew. She was not telling the truth. A few days later, Jacob had an idea. It is your birthday tomorrow, he said. Emma looked surprised. You remembered? Jacob smiled. Of course. The next evening, he decorated a small corner of the bookstore. A tiny cake. 2 candles. 1 small gift. Emma's eyes filled with tears. No one has celebrated my birthday before. For the first time, she looked truly happy. After the celebration, they walked outside together. The streets were quiet. Emma suddenly stopped. Jacob. I need to tell you something. Jacob waited. Emma looked down. Then, a black car appeared across the road. Emma's face turned pale. Not today, she whispered. We have to leave. She grabbed Jacob's hand. They quickly walked away. Jacob looked back. The same black car was following them. The next morning, Jacob opened the bookstore early. Emma was already waiting outside. She handed him a small white envelope. If anything happens to me, read this. Jacob looked confused. What do you mean? Emma smiled sadly. I hope you never have to find out. Before Jacob could ask another question, a black car stopped beside the bookstore. Emma's face lost all color. She whispered, They found me. The car door slowly opened. And someone stepped out. The car door opened. A tall man stepped out. He wore a black suit. His face looked cold. He walked straight toward Emma. Come with me, he said. Emma shook her head. No. The man looked at Jacob. Stay out of this. Jacob stood in front of Emma. I'm not leaving her. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then the man sighed. You still don't know the truth. Emma closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her face. I'm sorry, Jacob. I lied to you. Jacob felt his heart sink. My father owes dangerous people a lot of money. When he disappeared, they started looking for me. I kept moving from city to city. I never wanted you to become part of this. Jacob finally understood. Emma was never running from love. She was running from fear. Jacob slowly opened the envelope. Inside was a letter. It said, Jacob, if you are reading this, I could not protect you. Meeting you was the happiest part of my life. Please don't wait for me. Forget me. Live your life. Be happy. That is my last wish. Jacob's hands began to shake. He looked at Emma. I will never forget you. The man opened the car door. Emma slowly walked toward it. She stopped. She turned around. She ran back to Jacob. Without saying a word, she hugged him tightly. I love you, she whispered. Jacob closed his eyes. I love you too. Emma smiled through her tears. Then, she got into the car. The black car slowly disappeared down the road. Jacob stood there alone, holding her letter and her red scarf. He believed he would never see Emma again. But he was wrong. 3 years passed. Jacob never forgot Emma. He still worked at the bookstore. He still kept her red scarf. One evening, he stood at platform 7. He was leaving the city. Then, he saw a familiar face. Emma. She looked older. But her smile was the same. Jacob's heart stopped. Then he noticed something else. Emma was wearing a white wedding dress. Emma slowly walked toward him. Neither of them spoke. Then Jacob looked at her hand. An engagement ring. His smile disappeared. So, you found someone. Emma looked down. Before she could answer, a little girl ran toward her. She hugged Emma tightly. Mama. Jacob stood completely still. His heart broke. Was everything really over? Emma gently held the little girl's hand. She looked at Jacob. Her name is Lily. Jacob forced a smile. She is beautiful. Emma shook her head. You don't understand. Lily looked up at Jacob. Then she smiled. Are you Uncle Jacob? Jacob looked confused. Emma took a deep breath. The man who chased me 3 years ago was not a criminal. He was my uncle. He was protecting us. My father had disappeared because he was hiding from dangerous people. My uncle moved us to another city to keep us safe. Jacob felt relieved. But one question remained. Then, why didn't you come back? Emma's eyes filled with tears. Emma looked at Jacob. I wanted to come back. I tried many times. But every letter I wrote came back unopened. Jacob was shocked. I never received them. Emma smiled sadly. My uncle thought leaving you was the only way to keep you safe. She looked at the wedding dress. Then she whispered. I'm not the bride. Jacob blinked. What? Emma smiled for the first time. I'm here for my cousin's wedding. Jacob looked at the ring again. Emma laughed softly. It's my cousin's ring. She asked me to wear it for a few minutes. Jacob couldn't believe it. Everything he feared was completely wrong. But there was still one question. If Emma still loved him, would life give them one more chance? Jacob looked into Emma's eyes. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Jacob smiled. I kept your letter. Emma looked surprised. And I still have your red scarf. Jacob opened his bag. He carefully took out the scarf. Emma gently touched it. Tears filled her eyes. You really kept it? Jacob nodded. I promised myself, if we ever met again, I would never let you go. Emma could not hold back her tears. She stepped closer. I never stopped loving you. For the first time in 3 years? They hugged each other again. It felt like home. Emma smiled. There is one more thing. Jacob looked confused. My uncle wants to meet you. Just then, the man in the black suit walked toward them. Jacob became nervous. The man smiled. I owe you an apology. I judged you too quickly. You stayed loyal. You protected Emma. He held out his hand. Jacob shook it. Then the man handed Jacob a small box. Open it. Inside was a simple silver key. Jacob looked puzzled. Emma laughed. It is the key to our new bookstore. Jacob could hardly believe it. Emma smiled. I saved money for 3 years. And now, I want us to build our dream together. Jacob's eyes filled with happy tears. 6 months later, a small bookstore opened in the town. Above the door, a wooden sign read, Forever Stories. Jacob wrote books. Emma painted beautiful covers. Every afternoon, children came to read. Families came to smile. The bookstore became full of hope. Jacob looked at Emma. If I had never met you, my life would be empty. Emma smiled. And if I had never walked into your bookstore, I would still be running. They laughed together. This time, they were finally free. Sometimes, life separates two people. Not because love is gone, but because the time is not right. True love is not only about finding the right person. It is also about waiting, trusting, and never losing hope. Now we have one question for you. If you were Jacob, would you have waited for Emma for 3 years? Tell us your answer in the comments. And thank you for learning English through stories with Fluency Tales.